Hi, this is my first long form video, and I've decided for the content of this video, I'm going to discuss the processes I went through trying to make this backlit LED sign using some mirrored acrylic that I bought from Catronic in England, and also using my Epilogue Fusion maker there, my 40-watt Epilogue Fusion. I think you can just about see the reflection there in the sign. So I had a few problems along the way in making this sign, so I've decided that I'm going to go through the processes and show you how I managed to get there, get to the end, and how to make it. So first of all, I used AutoCAD. I do tend to use Adobe Illustrator with the laser, but I like the precision of AutoCAD and some of the tools, especially for making paths of a specific length I quite like. So I bought couple of different types of LED from Temu. I bought a 3 meter length of a kind of warmish LED that had a rubber diffuser in the front of it, and I thought that was going to be a good choice for the backlit sign. I was hoping that it would produce a nice even illumination with no dark spots and no hot spots, but as you'll see later on in the video, things didn't quite work out that way. So here's the design in AutoCAD, and as I said, I used the list command in AutoCAD to make sure I made the optimal use for the length of the LEDs I had available. So you can see here this one worked out quite well, this path, which was 2.97 meters, and I cut the path out. I took this path into Adobe Illustrator. I offset the path first of all, and then I brought it into Adobe Illustrator to do some of the graphical work with my logo and do the actual engraving. You can cut and engrave from AutoCAD, but some of the tools in Illustrator are a bit better suited for that. When I cut the path out, and here it is here, you can see the off-cut, quite springy. But the actual results from the lighting were quite disappointing. There were quite a few hot spots, and there were some areas in the sign that just didn't appear to be lit at all. I thought using the 3 meter LED was going to produce more light and also a more even distribution. As it ended up, I decided instead to use the outside perimeter path, this shape here, and I put the LED lights around the outside pointing in the way, and I also painted the back surface, the back panel. I painted that white as well to help try to bounce a lot more of the light round about on the inside. So here's an example of the mirror acrylic I used to create the sign. At the back as well, it has this protective cover as well. It looks a bit like brown paper, but it's quite elasticated and it also quite sticky. And this is the surface that you engrave away. As I say, I bought this from Catronic, quite good prices, and I do tend to shop around. So, and this video is not sponsored, by the way. So you can see you want the laser to engrave this side away. So this is why you have to reverse your design around in Illustrator or AutoCAD or whatever it is, the software that you're using, because you want your image to be reversed so that when it's revealed on the front side, it leads correct, left to right. So in the Epilogue software, I'm going to run this job in 2 separate passes. The first pass is going to be the cut, and I have a preset for cutting 3mm acrylic, which I'm just going to load up. moment I'm going to flip the graphic so that it reads correctly from left to right from the other side, and then I'm going to load up another preset as well for engraving. I've created my own custom preset for engraving mirrored acrylic. The power settings were a little bit high, but I wanted to make sure it worked. So it worked fairly well. As you can see though, it probably wouldn't work so well for larger signs, because obviously if the LEDs are mounted around the outside edge, the further away they are from the centre is going to appear quite dark. But as you can see here, I'm actually quite happy with the end result. It worked out quite well. So I consider it a success, but only for a sign of this size. Overall, the dimensions are approximately 14 inches wide and about 10 inches tall. And as I say, I don't know if using LEDs around the perimeter would work for any larger sign. So that's the end of the video. It was short and sweet. I didn't discuss the settings of my laser in terms of power and so on, because the settings will change. I know a lot of people ask questions like that on other YouTube videos about what power and what speed did you choose, but really you have to do your own testing for that. Every machine is different, every material is different. The machine I use is an epilogue laser. It's quite expensive. It uses an RF tube, a metal ceramic RF tube, which engraves faster than a conventional water-cooled glass tube CO2 laser. So, as I say, it's very difficult for me to give you settings that will work on your machine to the same level, and that's why I didn't really discuss those as part of the video, other than to mention that I made two separate choices for vector cutting and for engraving. If you get any questions or comments in the video, please feel free to add them below, especially if you get any comments to make about suggestions of things to try, or things you thought perhaps I could have done better. One of the things I plan to do in another video is I plan to look at different types of adhesives. In the video there, I used this B7000, and I plan to use that. It's supposed to be used for, amongst other things, ceramics and glass, and I want to test it to make sure, or to check how transparent it sets when I join two pieces of clear acrylic together. I've got another glass adhesive here as well, it's supposed to do the same thing, and I've got a few other adhesives as well I want to try. Not so much, or not just to test their strength, but also to see how transparent the join is. So that's going to be my next video, and I have a few ideas for a few others as well, but feel free to add any of your own. Thanks very much, and goodbye.